Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new sort of series on the channel. Over at my Twitch channel, I've been doing a lot of live streaming over the past, I would say 6 months to a year. And the main world I've been streaming in is the world you're seeing right now, the 240p server. I'll put links down below to all the members' channels, as well as to our Twitch team and all that good stuff. Because I know a lot of you guys don't watch me on Twitch, you just watch on YouTube. And I figured it might be a good idea to have a series where I show you guys everything I do outside of YouTube, because I do a lot. I do a lot of building and a lot of fun stuff outside of what you guys see here. That has sometimes led to some lesser amounts of videos and whatnot. And I figured this would be a good opportunity since I've done a lot in this world. I have over 300 hours on the server as of right now. A server that started 6-7 months ago. What is it? 6-7, something like that. It'd be nice to have a little bit of a series where I can sort of show you guys, give you guys a tour of everything that I've been doing, and then update you guys on what all is going on around my base area, around the server, and what I'm doing outside of YouTube. So, without further ado, guys, we've got a lot to cover. Let's get started right where everything began. This, ladies and gentlemen, is where everything began. This nether hub, this nether portal right here in this area. This used to be a mushroom island, and over about a month's time span, I decided to terraform the entire area, pretty much getting rid of all the mycelium. There might be a few spots here and there that I missed, but for the most part, we got rid of all the mycelium and replaced it with grass. And the way I did that, guys, is I used netherrack, and I placed netherrack on top of all the mycelium until it turned to dirt. Then I got rid of the netherrack and placed grass blocks in certain places, and that spread the grass. But that's one of the first things that I did, and one of the other first things I did was actually make this house right here. So the whole idea of this island is as a sort of fantasy elven village sort of thing, and that's what I wanted to go for with my base on the server. So as you can see, this is the sort of roof style I went with. It kind of extends out a few blocks here, adds some lanterns. And one of the main points of this whole build style was to try, number one, to improve my building, because I'm terrible at fantasy, but second, to go a little bit wacky, because I don't typically go very non-symmetric. As many of you guys probably know, most of my builds are very, very symmetric. And I figured, why not make a bunch of builds that aren't symmetric, right? You can see some of these have towers, some of these are, some of them are symmetric, but a lot of them really aren't. Stuff like this, you can sort of see that with the mixture of the colors and the mixture of towers and this roof style, they really aren't symmetric. So that's what I decided to do with these houses. Inside, I haven't really decorated too many of them, but this was the first house that I built. This was the sort of the test round. I didn't do anything in creative or anything like that. I decided to just, you know what, go ahead and try to build this thing. And I want to make it very natural. I wanted to have all the leaves going on here. You can see I've added some grass around the area as well. One of the other things I wanted to make sure I did was add these colors. So one of the things I've been told quite a bit is that my builds aren't very colorful, which is fair. It's a fair critique of what I do. So I decided, since it is fantasy, and fantasy is known to be a little more colorful, why not add some color into this area? So that's what I did. You can see we have mixtures of green. I started out with green because that was a fairly neutral color to me, at least for this area. Then I sort of expanded from there. I think one of the next houses I built was actually some of the ones back here. We do have a to-do list right there, which I'll get to in just a minute. But we have this house, which has been nicknamed the Shifu house, apparently. For whatever reason, I don't actually remember what it was, but we have a red house here. We have the magenta, the purple house here, the blue house here, and so on and so forth, all around these parts. But yeah, as you can see, I not only tried to add some of the color variants, but I tried adding a bit of some block variation as well. So I used some of these bone blocks. Bone blocks, as you guys probably know at this point, are some of my favorite blocks to use. I added some stripped logs as well. So I have the stripped spruce right here and on this one as well. But if we go this way, I can show you on this house right here, I have some stripped oak, I think. Where's this birch? That's birch. I have some stripped oak somewhere. I think, yeah, it's right. It's actually right there. I have some stripped birch on here as well. So I try to vary things up, use as many of the different wood types as I could, and sort of go from there. And I made a bunch of different house designs based around that. I even have some that I'm using mushroom blocks. Because obviously on a mushroom island, there are a bunch of mushrooms that naturally spawn. And so I used Silk Touch, got a bunch of these mushroom blocks, and decided to use them for some roofs. And I think it looks pretty good. It's a nice bit of texture variation. So at least it has that. But one of the other things that I really wanted to do is not only vary the different styles in terms of like asymmetric, non-symmetric sort of stuff. I also want to add different variations of heights of buildings as well. So over here we have 2 towers. This was the first tower I built. If we can go ahead and head up here, there's nothing too special inside of it, as we'll see. Not honestly with all these buildings. I haven't done the interiors of them yet, so I'll give you guys an update later on when I do. But as you can see, it's a pretty decent tower right here, and I have this right here, which is supposed to be to the next level. A little water stream going up here, but this is a wizard tower essentially that I decided to build, and I think it looks pretty good. I think it turned out pretty well. This is actually the most recent build around here. This is a sort of a wacky tower I decided to go with, namely because I never done anything like this before, and I wanted to have these little bits that extend off of the tower, as you can see. So through some trial and error and different roof designs and whatnot, I found a design that I actually quite like and has different like arms off of it as well. There's one on the other side as well. If we can go take a look at that. Yeah, right here. There's one right here. The roof right here is nothing special either, but it gets the job done, and that's what really matters the most. Now, the other thing you guys are probably seeing and are wondering why I haven't talked about are these mountains right here. So far I built 4 mountains around the island. One of the things I was sort of asked when I first started this island was, hey, are you going to do any sort of custom terrain? Because for the most part, I just converted the mycelium, and well, that's all she wrote. So I decided, you know what, adding some mountains and stuff to vary some of the heights and elevations of the terrain around here would be pretty cool. So I decided to make custom mountains. Now, as you can see, these mountains are hollow inside. All of this was done, well, yeah, basically all of it was done on stream, and I designed it to be hollow so I can do things like this. So this mountain is going to have a tree farm inside of it. Other mountains may have different farms, but I decided if I'm going to have any farms around my base, then tree farms are the way to go, or farms inside the mountains are the way to go, because farms usually aren't very pretty, and well, why not just stick them inside of a gigantic mountain? Now let's see if I can actually get out of here. There we go. Same goes for these other mountains as well. And as you can see, I've been trying to terraform or trying to add some texture to the side. So this one has some snow on the top, so does that one. I haven't finished these, of course. But the goal here is to add some snow layers going all the way down. Obviously less snow as we go down. And also add in some andesite and some light gray concrete powder to add in some texture variation to these mountains. This mountain actually was my first attempt of all the mountains around here. And since then I think I went basically whatever counterclockwise, clockwise, whatever direction that is, and tested these different mountains out because I've never built mountains before, and I wanted to test some things. This has been a lot of work. I put tens and maybe even well, not hundreds, but definitely tens of hours into these mountains, trying to make them look at the best that I can, and we're getting somewhere. This is my favorite mountain over here. This is the last one I did, or that I shaped, and it's the biggest and looks the most mountain-like in my opinion, so this is probably my favorite one right here. But that's really it for a lot of the outside stuff. I do have a bit of a dock area over here as well. I'm gonna be adding some ships and boats over here at some point as well, but basically the idea for this was you can dock a few boats here and there, and to have some sort of backdrop right here that wasn't just grass, because I thought the grass looked hideous. So I added some stone back here, sort of like you've carved out a side of the hillside, a side of the mountain, essentially. And some of the stone is poking through. So I thought that this was a pretty interesting backsplash for the dock here, and I really like it. I think it stands out. It's exactly what I want in a backdrop for this area. Can I fly? Can I please fly? Please? Thank you. Gosh darn it. And I guess the other thing I forgot about is this place over here. This is going to be the farming sort of wheat field area of my base. We're going to have a windmill here and a barn here. But yeah, I placed a bunch of wheat here. We have some scarecrows and stuff down there, as you can sort of see. They're not clothed or anything yet, but we'll get to that at some point. I just kind of forgot about it and didn't get to it just quite yet. But some of the other things I've done around here, you sort of saw it maybe in the intro or maybe a little bit earlier over here. I do have a mine shaft over here. There really isn't much in this, so I'm not going to go down it. But I do have, I guess the one thing I can show you, I mined out a huge space. I've done a lot of speed mining on the server, and I can show you this way. First off, we found a slime chunk, which I may eventually convert into a slime farm. We'll see. But as you can see, I've done a lot of mining on here. I have tons of diamonds, tons of resources. Definitely will not be short on any resources for a long time. But yeah, as you can see, it goes quite a distance. I've done quite a lot of speed mining. It's a lot of fun. I've done it just in my own time and on stream and all that stuff, and it's been a lot of fun. So definitely nice to have around this base area. Another place I have that's a little more recent, I built this kind of recently, this is a little waterfall area. It's not completely done, but another member on the server said, hey, this would be a great place for waterfall, and I agreed. So I built this little waterfall area. It's got a few crops around it. It's nice and got a nice little pool right here, completely custom. And if we go in here, there's supposed to actually be a button, and around here, actually, is there a button? Hold on. Did I put a button around here? I did. This is actually a secret entrance, into an AFK fish farm, which I've never used. Well, yeah, I've used it a little bit, but it's like 5 minutes worth of stuff. It's not much. Well, not even 5 minutes. It's like 2 minutes worth of stuff. Never really used this. Never really had a use for it. We restart the server every 4 hours, so there's no real point in. I don't know why I did that. There's no real point in AFKing, because we do restart the server every 4 hours. So if I want to AFK for an hour or two, I could probably do that. But even then, I'm pretty sure if you stay idle for too long, the server does kick you. So there's no point for that. But this is one of the other areas I've made. And one of the final areas, I think it's one of the final areas, and one of the ones that usually kind of impresses people the most, at least so far is what I've gotten, is this area down here. This is my storage area, and this little space right here was actually a natural ravine that I converted into this storage area. It was even open like this, and all that kind of stuff. We've done a little bit of terraforming outside of that, but it was already kind of like this. And so if we head down here, you can see a little bit of a furnace array going over here. We don't have an actual like huge furnace area, so I just use this, and it works pretty well. And the whole idea here was to have the ravine split in two. So this ravine is actually much bigger than what you see in front of you, but half of it is underwater. I flooded everything down there, which we'll go to in a minute. But as you can see, tons and tons and tons of double chests. I forget how many double chests are in here, but it can store a ton of resources, a ton of items, and it's a whole lot of fun to put things away. People always ask me, how do you remember where everything is? I do have some signs here, but for the most part, I've used the storage area so much, just by memory, I know where most of the things are. So it makes things a lot easier. We got our, our wood, our cobble and stone, dirt, and all the different diorite and andesite and all that, dirt blocks and stuff, sand and glass and concrete and mushroom blocks. So some different food items and crops over here. Got all kinds of good stuff. Enchanted books are supposed to go here for now, although that'll probably get moved down. And we have in here some of our mob drops and the nether stuff. And this side we have most of our valuables, so our coal, iron, redstone, lapis, gold, diamonds, emeralds, all that kind of stuff. So you guys are probably wondering, what is the lower level being used for? Well, currently it's not being used for anything, but I decided for the lower level, I not only wanted to flood it, but I want to make it look like a natural ocean area, because we did start this world when 1.13 came out, and I figured having a little underwater area with all these different sea plants and stuff, the kelp and the seagrass and all that would work pretty well. And someone actually told me that you can bone meal underwater and it produces this seagrass, which was insane to me. So as you can see, I kind of went a little bit crazy with it. The whole goal down here was to have all these chests and have sort of an underwater enchanted book storage, enchanted library sort of book storage place that we could put all of our enchanted books and different things down here. And I think I've done a pretty good job of that. I made stone brick and mossy stone brick, as well as some sea lanterns and for lighting, because the lighting was pretty terrible down here for a long time. Down here, along with some fish, which have been named after some of my viewers who were there when we completed this little area. Do want to add some more fish with some people very, very soon. Some coral as well with the sea pickles, and of course the conduit down here, which lets us breathe underwater. I can take all my armor off and I can still breathe and swim and do all kinds of good stuff underwater. So that's all that's down here. And someone also suggested that I make this sort of look like it's a virus that's spreading off in the middle, which I liked. So I used some of this, some of these blocks, whatever these things are called. I always forget down here, and I think it looks pretty good. And you can just sort of pop up down here, pop up into here, and voila, you're above the surface. Now we have had a problem with fish popping above the surface, getting stuck on land and dying, but hopefully it won't be too much for too much longer. And then here we have a back entrance with the sort of cave-like thing As you can see, I used a lot of different blocks in the top here, so to make it look like a natural cave or a natural ravine, natural stalactites or whatever hanging from the ceiling, and a nice little entrance that goes out in the back here with lily pads and this sort of stuff, and some texturing on the outside. And one more thing I almost forgot. Inside of here is where I decided to store my mushrooms and the sheep. There's only 2 kinds of animals that I actually have in here. But I decided to store them down in these giant pits. Don't ask me why. It's just sort of a thing I thought would be cool, but I decided to make it into this natural cave. There used to be a natural lake, I guess, underground lake inside of here, and I sort of just converted it into this place. So we can actually hop down here into the mix of the cows. You can see I added some details to the walls, some light gray concrete, and some andesite, and some light gray concrete powder. As you can see, we have a ton of mushrooms. Some of these guys need to be killed and bred and killed pretty soon. But if we go into here, this is a place I haven't really decorated yet, but this is the back entrance where you can go ahead and head up to the surface. But one of the things that you can do from here is we can head up to the sheep pen as well. As you can see, I'm not going to go inside of there, but added some hay bales and stuff to all these places, some water troughs so they have some water and all kinds of good stuff in here. And then whenever we're done breeding or doing whatever that we need to do down here, we can just head all the way up, and voila, we're back at the top. So I think that's pretty cool. And on this back side, I decided to add an entrance as well. This nice little cave entrance right here over to our docks, just to connect things up. It was just a perfect little entrance, and I thought it would be a good idea to have a backdoor entrance essentially into this place, because that's a pretty easy path and just sort of made sense. But guys, that's really it for now. I haven't shown you everything. I haven't shown the inside of all the mountains. I haven't shown you some of these other pathways as well. We can sort of go through all the inside of these buildings, but for the most part, we haven't finished any of it. This is most of what we've done. It's taken me about 300 hours to get most of this stuff done. It's been a huge journey, guys. We've done a lot of things. It's been a lot of fun. And I look forward to doing some more stuff here and updating you guys here on YouTube with the updates to this place whenever I do get some. But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this tour. Let me know if there's anything I missed and you want to see in a future tour of the server. As like I said, when I get more things done, I'll let you guys know, and I can always update you guys on what in the world is happening on the server, so you guys can see how my base is progressing and what things will look like maybe in 100, 200, 300,000 more hours from now. We got a lot of work left to do, and I'm really excited to get working, get crack-a-lackin' on this place, and hopefully finish the island relatively soon. One of the major things that I've been talking about that you guys will see eventually in this big space right here, over here, I do plan on having a big sort of enchanted world tree sort of thing. So that'll be a major update coming at some point. I've been really scared of it because I've never made a big tree before. I'm really bad at custom trees. I've never made a big tree before, so this will be a huge undertaking for me. But will hopefully be a lot of fun once we get to it. So let me know if like I said, if there's anything I missed and you guys want to see in the next update. Hopefully I'll do these once every month, maybe, just to give you guys an idea as to what exactly I've been doing on the server. But guys, if you did enjoy this world tour, go ahead, smash that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new and are not already subscribed. If you haven't followed my Twitch channel already, where all of this happens live, it is linked down below, or just go to twitch.tv/WhiteFyr, WhiteFyr, same as it's spelled here, and you can get all the action over on my Twitch channel. I usually go live about 5-6 times a week, so lots of fun stuff happening over there. But anyways, guys, take care, and I'll see you later.